Hey, how's it going? Dave 2D here. So Razer has some new flagship keyboards, the Razer Huntsman and the Huntsman Elite. And these aren't designed to replace their super popular Black Widow keyboard. These are kind of like a secondary flagship device, but I think these are going to be the future of their keyboards. So what makes these things special is their switch. They're using these Razer opto-mechanical switches, which are optical switches. So the traditional mechanical switch uses metal contacts to actuate the switch, but these use an infrared light beam that's detected when you press the switch down. So when the switch is up, that red beam gets blocked, press it down, the red beam goes through and the sensor picks it up, and that's an actuation. So these guys aren't the first people to come up with an optical light switch. It's been done before by other companies, but Razer is one of the first big players in the gaming industry to do it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Logitech and Corsair or any of the other bigger companies if they do it relatively soon as well. So what makes an opto-mechanical switch special? For one, these switches have fewer moving parts, so they just have a longer lifespan. These are actually rated for 100 million keystrokes. Your standard mechanical switch, like something from Cherry, is rated for like 20 to maybe 50 million keystrokes. These are 100 million. Significantly longer lasting, significantly more durable. Now, whether or not you're actually going to break your keyboard because you pressed it 100 million times is a different story, but just by the nature of how the switch works, these are more longer lasting. Secondly, opto-mechanical switches don't have something called D-bands. So on a regular mechanical switch, manufacturers have to implement an input delay. So this is a purposeful delay of around 5 milliseconds, and they do this to prevent something called chatter. Opto-mechanical switches don't have chatter, so they don't have to implement this delay, so that input is just received by the computer a little bit faster. I feel like Razer built this entire keyboard around speed. So in addition to that optical sensor that's reading a little bit faster, they have a lower actuation force and a shorter travel on each keystroke. And they've ended up with this gaming keyboard that feels really fast. I'm not sure if it's the actuation force or the shortened travel or if it's the optical sensor. I think all of them are working together, but it actually feels significantly and noticeably faster than a regular mechanical switch. It feels crisp and sharp. It's just a faster and snappier experience. If I'm being honest though, I notice it most when I'm typing. When I'm gaming, my inputs feel a little bit cleaner, but when I'm typing, my fingers feel like they're doing stuff faster and with less effort than normal. Alright, in terms of how these feel, these are clicky switches, so they have that very distinct tactile bump as you press it down. It's not as pronounced as like a cherry blue or the Razer greens, like it's not as sharp of a bump as those, but it is distinctly a tactile bump as you press it down. In terms of how they sound, it's a very audible click, but not as loud as a cherry blue or a Razer green. The switches themselves have purple stems, and the shape looks a little different from your standard mechanical switch, but it uses a regular keycap. And there's actually stabilizers on each key. So that metal clip that runs around the edge, normally you only see that on bigger keys like the spacebar or the shift key, but these have stabilizers on each key. Okay, so other features that you get on the regular Huntsman. You have onboard memory, so you can actually configure your device and store that configuration on the device itself, as well as the cloud. You get programmable macro keys, you get individual lighting, which you can customize pretty heavily. You get 10-key rollover, and it's an aluminum top panel. It's pretty good. But on the premium version, the Huntsman Elite, you get all of that stuff, but you also get media keys up here, as well as a jog dial. So the jog dial controls volume by default, but you can customize it to scroll or zoom or switch apps. Like, it's got a lot of functionality. There's also pogo pins up front on this device, and these allow you to connect the magnetic wrist rest. It's not a super comfortable wrist rest to me, but I'm not a wrist rest user. If you're into them, then you might like this. But it also gives you, on the Huntsman Elite, underglow lighting. So the whole device lights up underneath and on the sides, and you can control that as well quite extensively through software. Now, because these are connected through pogo pins, Razer could develop other modules like, I don't know, like a trackpad or a wireless charging thing for your phone. Whatever they want, they could develop different modules in the future instead of this wrist rest. So I've been using this keyboard for a little bit over a week, and I like a lot about it. It feels fast, and there is a noticeable difference in speed compared to my regular mechanical, but there's a few things I don't like about it. Number one, I wish there was USB pass-through. I also don't like that it only comes in a full keyboard version. I wish there was a 10-keyless version. I also wish it came in a different color. But my biggest complaint is that if you're interested in this keyboard, if you're interested in this opto-mechanical switch technology, you have to use this type of tactile switch. There isn't a linear version of this. There isn't a variant in terms of the tactility. It's this one and only switch. And if you don't like the way that it feels, then you won't be able to adopt this whole opto-mechanical technology for now. But overall, great keyboard that I think most people will like. Now, the $1 million question though is whether or not this keyboard or whether or not this technology is actually going to make you a better gamer. And my take on it is this: for 99.999% of the time, it won't. I mean, if you're a good gamer, you're a good gamer. A keyboard won't affect your gameplay. But there is that time, like you've probably experienced this, when you're in a game and you want to use an ability or an alt or whatever it is, you press a button, it should have gone off, and it didn't. Whether it's lag or whatever it is, but on a keyboard that's recording your inputs a little bit faster, there is the chance that it goes off, you don't die, you don't wipe, you save your team, you're a hero. And in that 0.001 chance that that happens, this would make you a better gamer. But I think for most people, it's just a really fast, nice keyboard. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, I just realized when I made this video, because of this product, the Razer product line is now an excellent dodgeball team.
Allow me the pleasure of introducing you to Blade, Laser, Blazer,